Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to the Design Duo. We have our guest speaker with us, Zach Felt from Lumbros today, and we're so happy to have him. Now is the time to jump into those spring projects because we've also got, summer coming up and everybody wants to enjoy the lake during the summer months. So
Decks.
things are booking out quick.
Yeah.
And so I'd say if you have any of those projects that you want to start, to get those started because now's the time, right? There's still snow coming down on the ground. You can get it done right before you can actually get outside. And because we have such short summer months, we want to be able to enjoy those.
Yes, absolutely. The planning phases are always a mission to get through, and I think there's a lot of details that are very, very important whenever you're thinking about a renovation. So we are more than happy to help out with project coordinating, interior designing, anything design-wise that you might need some assistance with. So the planning phase can be a little bit less stressful.
Exactly. So all three of us can help you with that.
Yeah.
Right, yeah. I'd say most important is just to get on it early. Don't
Yeah.
wait till, you want that. Want that deck? Sorry, first podcast. But I mean, don't just get the ball rolling. Come in and talk to somebody. Just if you're interested at all, maybe it's a wait till summer or wait till next summer even just to get a jump start on it. Obviously, we want you this summer, but
Yeah, depending on how big the project is,
Right.
Right.
Planning.
Yeah.
So we're so happy, like I mentioned, to have Zach Felt with us here, owner of Lumbros Building Supplies, Building Solutions right here in town. Zach's going to introduce himself and tell us a little bit about himself. Zach, I want to know what you do at Lumbros, where you started, and what you started off doing, how you got in the industry.
Sure. Yeah, I got in the industry. Actually, it'll be 20 years next month already. So
Oh, wow. Congratulations.
crazy. Getting old is fun. But it actually started. I had a friend that was working for a lumberyard, and I thought, oh, cool trucks. He had lumber gloves. Sorry, I shouldn't be sitting on the cord. And anyway, didn't really know. I just moved back. I moved to Florida after high school. Just moved back to
I did not know that about you.
Minnesota, and I'd been in the sign and design kind of industry before that. That's what I grew up with my dad, and got a job as a summer delivery driver, yard guy at a lumber yard. Still had shaggy hair and a pierced lip, and started my first day with a sprained ankle. No one thought I would make it, but turns out I'm a lot clingier than everyone thought.
So you started at the bottom and you worked your way up.
Yeah, I've kind of pretty much done every role, not necessarily of all of them being titled. But yeah, I did work through that. Eventually, after about 5 years, I went and worked for a contractor and 2 contractors over the course of about 4.5 years, and then got into sales and estimating back at that same lumber yard.
So when
and
did
just
you
kinda
actually
fell in love.
open Lumbros?
Lumbros will be 2019. July of 2019 is when we legit got rolling, and that was just kind of some, just believe God opened some doors closed, some doors opened, and it got to the point where it was scarier to not try it than it was to try it. So we
For
jumped
sure.
in. Yeah.
And
So do
you've
you-
grown a very lucrative business. I mean, you're always busy. You've got lots of projects going on. Tell us where you're located at.
Yeah, thank you. We are about we're a half a mile south of WeFest, actually on the roundabout on the corner. If roundabouts have corners, we're right by Shoreham.
On the way to Hotel Shoreham,
On
right
the
there
way to
at that
Hotel
second
Shoreham.
roundabout south on 59, right on the
Exactly.
corner there.
Exactly.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, well, awesome, Zach. So I've known you for many, many years. Zach's always been in the building industry for as long as I've known him. So we're going to talk a little bit about going to some fun things. Like, first of all, I want to ask a question, and that question is, we see this a lot. We basically act like counselors sometimes in our careers when we're working with couples that are building a home or renovating a home. And believe it or not, you're kind of that middle party that's guiding them along the way. Am I right?
Yes.
So
Yeah, absolutely.
we've been in the middle of arguments and, deep conversations and
People
having to
voicing their opinions in front of each other instead of behind,
Right.
studio doors, and then it's just kind of like they look at each other like, oh, you've never told me that before.
For sure. I've had husbands straight up pout, turn around with his back to his wife.
Oh yeah, I've had
Oh, yeah.
a husband totally just walk out of the showroom because him and his wife were getting into it, and I'm just standing there awkwardly oh my gosh,
How
I
can I
don't know
help?
what to do.
Yeah.
I had a man offer me $100 to take I think his wineberry, a red color out of the Marvin window swatch, so his wife wouldn't see it because he didn't want red windows. He's like, I'll give you $100 if you take that out.
That's
So
awesome.
I gave it to him. He could do what he wants. But
Yeah.
not an accomplice.
That's funny.
Huh.
Yeah. Well, okay. So going into that, like I asked everybody to write down 3 must-haves as a man versus must-haves as a woman. Okay. So I'm going to start. All right. And when we haven't shown each other our answers yet either. So
I tried to cheat a little bit, but
okay, so yeah, Zach was looking at my paper. So one of my, I think, main must-haves if I were gonna build a house is open concept, like a place where everybody can gather, around, because nobody likes slaving in the kitchen by themselves. But open concept and just having a great big area that can fit a lot of people. So a lot of times, like, great rooms are a little bit too small for me. Having an area that's really big and having that be the majority square footage of the home is just that great room area.
Yeah. And it functions in all different kinds of ways. Like, it's gatherings, it's breakfast, it's preparing meals together, it's celebrating Christmas, it's
Birthday parties.
everything.
and-
Yeah.
Yep.
And if you have that full open concept, you have, a lot less restraint on what you can do in those areas too. You could build a fort with your kids, like it could be having a lot of purposes.
I would say I've never actually lived in an open concept home officially. Obviously been involved in a lot of them.
Well,
with
actually, I think
projects.
that your house on the mountain road was.
Well, yeah,
That was
but
like
it
a great room area, open
that's true.
concept.
Yeah, exactly right.
Yeah.
But
Mm-hmm.
it was small, cozy.
Yeah,
cozy.
like
I
small.
know
Yeah,
when
I
we
mean.
moved into our house here on Highland, we were originally going to take out one of the wall between the dining room and the living room because I wanted it.
Oh
open.
yeah. Yep.
But it turns out with like 3 kids and stuff, it's we're fortunate that we have a big dining room and kitchen and everything too, and then the living room's kind of extended. But it turns out I kind of like the wall there just for that it made our living room the living room.
Right.
And it
True.
differentiated.
Sure.
Not that I don't love
True.
walkthroughs and looking at everything.
Yeah.
But
Yep.
for our family, it kind of
Like it worked.
It was like a
nice,
sound
healthy
guard.
transition. Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay. So Zach, what's one of yours?
One of my, what am I doing, for a man or a woman?
So whichever you want. Well, your must-have for a man. You're a man. So
my must-have for a man. Garage and stuff. Actually, a good organized garage. Not to be all
So, yep.
stereotypical,
Nope.
gendery. It goes for both ways. I've seen some single ladies with amazing garages, and I would say just a nice organized garage to play. To fill
that's
my role,
such a
play my gender
solid
role here.
answer for a
It's a
man,
really good
honestly,
answer.
because like
Surprise,
my
surprise.
dad is nuts about his garage. I mean, he'll be like, we'll be having company over. He'll be like, I got to go mop the garage. I mean, it's like spotless. You could eat off the
Right.
floor in there.
Yeah.
And it's super organized. Everything has its place.
Well, that's the hangout too. He's got a TV. He's
Oh,
got
yeah.
chairs out
He
there.
loves
Like
it.
that's his entertainment zone.
yeah,
for
that's
him.
like his thing. Like he's
Yeah.
always been like we've always had company growing up, and then my mom's like fretting about cleaning the house, and my dad's out mopping the garage floor, and that's always been
Right, and there's
That's
plenty
always
of,
been a thing.
Yeah.
A lot of people will remodel and then take their old cabinets and
Yeah.
put them in the
Yeah.
garage and stuff.
Yep.
But I've been in awesome
great
garages.
idea.
Sorry, my hair is not full enough to hold these. Hope the camera adds 10 pounds of hair to my face and forehead. But like I've seen places where they've actually like even brought in their dining room tables, and have
Oh,
it, and just
really?
have
Yeah.
it
Oh,
like,
yeah,
in a-
that's
in a,
cool.
In a space in front
Bars
of the
in
car
the
Yeah.
and
garage.
stuff.
Well,
Yeah.
even
What
in a
they're
lot of
into.
lake homes now, we're seeing like where they're
Right.
transforming their garage into like a game room area. So they'll
Right.
put like a ping pong table out there, and
Bless you. Bless you.
Thank
all the fun
Right.
stuff, gaming systems, card games. Everything happens in the garage, which is cool because if lake homeowners, they don't necessarily, they're here for the summer and need to park in the garage. So why not turn it into a fun area?
For
Yeah.
sure, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I love the, we've done a lot of those clear view garage doors.
Yes.
Which are just gorgeous. You have it in the back of a lure also, and that
Oh yeah,
that
yeah.
one by
Oh yeah,
Battle Lake,
love
I
that.
think.
Yeah.
Yep.
Amazing. But I think it would be awesome to have, if you're a lake home, you drive in through the 3-stalls or 2-stall garage, but then on the backside have that kind of
Yes,
glass door to open
agree.
up,
I
you
So
love
it's your
that.
inside-outside living
I
space.
love that.
You can
Absolutely.
entertain as
but you
people are
can still
coming in
drive
off.
But then
something
have like the
small
drop
all the
down
way
mosquito
through.
net.
Oh,
For sure,
yes.
for sure.
Yeah,
We
no,
have a-
that's the best
we have a
drive-through
couple
You
garage.
mean our
options.
state bird, the mosquito?
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
I
Yep.
can't buzz, so I'll roll my-
Welcome to Minnesota. Okay, Roxy, what do you got?
Okay, so I think this is a major point of contention for a lot of couples where I've run into some disagreements, but I feel like for men, it's got to be storage for their hunting/fishing gear, whether that be a garage, whether that be a separate storage room, whatever it may be. I feel like wives just don't want that stuff inside of the house, like especially deer heads is
Can we
one
talk
thing.
about that for one minute? Because like sometimes I feel like a what's the right word? A prune or a prude or
A
whatever.
prude.
Yeah, thank you. Okay.
I like prune though. You can go with
Okay.
prune.
I'll go with prune.
Prude.
Because I don't want, like, my husband's a huge hunter and I don't want these dead deer animals hanging on my walls at all. I mean, like,
Yeah.
some women will try to make them look cute by putting like a wreath around their neck or something like that, but that's just like not my thing. And whenever I go into like a basement where there's deer heads hanging all
Right.
over it, I'm
You're
like,
like they're all staring
I
at
think
you.
Yeah.
I think we're thinking of the same
It's
one
like
on a house
totally-
that was just sold. And
yeah.
everything looks nice. Like the upstairs.
yes, and then
is
you go
cute, white
downstairs.
shiplap, you know,
Yes.
everything is just decorated nicely.
Yep.
And then you can tell where like the compromise was.
Totally.
You walk
Oh, yeah.
upstairs And there's like 46 deer.
Deer heads on the
And it's
wall.
just- and I mean,
Exactly.
not to each their own.
Yeah. To
But
each their
I
own.
can see how Mama didn't want that.
Yeah.
In the master suite.
Yeah, I wouldn't even allow it in my basement if personally. I mean, if I think there's a place like
Is that why you
This
don't
guy
have a
does not
basement?
compromise on.
That's why you
any
bought a
deer
slab on
heads.
grade.
I think yeah, exactly. Like just keep it one level so they don't have that option. Yeah. No, deer stands. Like Troy's got a really awesome deer stand he can put all his deer heads in, or I wouldn't care if it was like a separate like detached garage or something like that where he could have his own man cave maybe. You know
what? I'm not going to make any man friends on this, but a good wife trick I just thought of could be right like Thursday night before deer season. Just give that sight on the gun a little smack, you know, right before he goes out to deer cast. Everything's sighted in.
Yeah,
That
no
is
kidding.
messed up. That's
Just a-
hours of
Just, you know,
preparation ruined.
couple clicks.
Yeah,
Oh,
no
yeah.
kidding,
Couple
right?
clicks up.
Yeah,
2 clicks or-
exactly.
right.
Yeah, and the thing about it is that it's like every deer they shoot, they gotta get it mounted. So then it's like, well, where the hell are we gonna put this one now?
Right.
You know?
Well, it's a whole story behind it too. You know, whenever the deer are in the main common areas or what have you, and you finally have these friends come over, and it's like, okay, they're coming over the first time, and it's like this conversation about this one deer or this group of deer
Oh,
is
yeah. It's like a real
lasting
thing.
forever.
Right.
You
There's
know?
25 whitetail bucks there. You know,
Yeah.
it's like they remember like each one.
They remember
Oh, yeah.
each experience.
Each
Yeah.
experience.
It's
Yep.
like, okay, the dinner's getting cold. Let's
Yeah.
go.
Yep.
The venison meatballs are cooling off.
Well, that's a good one. That's a good one. So for me, I think that as a woman, a must-have, another must-have would be like obviously a huge walk-in closet. I have no closet
Yes.
space right now, and that drives me absolutely insane. I've taken over, in fact, our whole closet plus like a whole dresser and left Troy with like a broom closet essentially in our
Oh,
laundry
poor
room.
Troy.
But our house is
No
not that
deer
big,
heads,
so
no closets.
I know Troy. Everybody's gonna start feeling real bad for Troy right now. But he's got a 3-foot wide closet with, it's all he needs though. Honestly, it's not even full, you guys. He's got like 10 shirts in there. Otherwise, he has a dresser where his everyday attire, being a tile setter, he's got like t-shirts and his jeans that have, crusty
work
mortar mud all
clothes.
over.
For
And a
sure.
very small
So he
amount
barely
of nice
dresses
clothes.
up, and he
Yeah.
doesn't
Right.
even need that many clothes or want them really,
Yeah, it's not his bag.
But for
babe.
me, it's like I'm overflowing. I need more space, and
No.
I have my shoes in my laundry
I
room
would
in the
never,
cabinets.
never
No.
imagine that.
No,
So I'd like to be more organized that way.
for sure.
Mm-hmm. What do you got, Zach?
I
What
got.
do you have for women?
What do I have for
Yeah,
women?
or you just a
the
guy's
the
perspective.
lady whisperer.
Oh, no,
Yeah.
I want to hear more of Zach's perspective
Yeah.
on like what
On all the things I didn't
Yeah.
fill out.
on all the things you didn't fill out.
Just like high school, I'm like looking at your answers. Mine's blank.
That's okay. Okay, we'll skip Zach. Go,
No,
Roxy.
I can.
Oh yeah,
what
you
was-
do it.
What were you
Okay,
asking?
do it. I
Another-
want to know, like what a must-have is for men in a new construction house
In a new construction house.
besides your organized garage.
This kind of probably falls on the ladies' side, and it's very common in new construction. But I'm going to say for the man side, not that we shouldn't have clean sinks with, no whiskers in it for a long period of time. But
Yeah.
2 sinks. I
Oh,
would
yeah.
say. I would say.
Oh, 2
I would
sinks.
say two
Yeah.
sinks. I've never experienced that, and I think getting ready at
Yeah.
the same time without
Yeah.
doing the dip and dive with
Yeah.
toothpaste
Yeah.
and stuff.
Honestly, I'm good with one sink because, Troy isn't like having to go to he's a tile setter, right?
You're
so
gonna say
he's-
Troy doesn't brush his
He
teeth.
does.
Poor Troy.
So-
I got you, buddy. I got
Sorry,
you.
Troy. He does brush his teeth, but
Right.
But we're never fighting over the sink in the morning. I think it's because I get up so early and I'm up and getting ready. And by the time I'm done getting ready is when he's actually getting up to get ready because he's a guy and he doesn't need as much time. So I can live with one sink, but, you know, I see 2 sinks would be nice for a lot of cases.
I've never had 2 sinks, and I think it would really be nice because there's something about, I don't know, having that fantasy of like you're both getting up together and we're both getting ready and we're both like ready for the day, you know. Like I actually ask a lot of customers, they'll come in with house plans and they'll have a double sink and they only have like a 5-foot vanity, and I'm like, okay, well, we need more space. There's not a lot of counter space.
Yeah.
So realistically, do you guys actually get up and get ready at the same time or not? And a lot of people say no.
Yeah.
And some people say yes. And in that case, I think it's worth creating more space in the bathroom, so that way if it is a priority for you, you have enough space for it. I think you have to have a minimum of a 6-foot vanity if you're going to do a double sink.
Absolutely.
Minimum, yeah.
Minimum.
Yeah. I wish I had a TV in my bathroom.
You would never leave your bathroom, Sky.
Because honestly, like I love watching the news. I turn the news on every morning. I like listening to the weather and hearing about. It's the only time I actually have to like take time to know what's going on in the morning.
Yeah.
So around the world. So having the TV in the bathroom as I'm getting ready where I can watch the news and do my hair and stuff, I mean, that would be great for me. I would love that.
For sure. I'm going to go back to my 2 sinks because I guess like similar morning schedules and stuff. In my mind, it's, you know, the whole family's going out, or it's church, or, you know, it's those times when you're getting ready together.
Right. True.
So,
that's true.
So mornings it's trying not to
having the
wake up.
space to be able to do that rather than having to rotate through the bathroom and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And doubling the amount of junk you need to clean in the bathroom is always fun.
Yeah, that's true too. So, okay, we're going to move on, guys, because another thing that I want to know is, like, okay, from a man's perspective, Zach, this question is, like, literally just for you. What are some of the most hated interior design trends? Because I know you work with interior designers and obviously, you know, just living in a home. What are the most hated interior design trends or interior design things, home decor pieces, whatever?
Ooh, that's a
like, what annoys you
one.
About, like, do throw pillows annoy you? Or do you see them as a necessity?
Like the livability of them? No, I like how they look. It doesn't bother me to throw 5 pillows on. You know, if I would put 100 pillows on if someone does the fitted sheet.
Yeah, right.
Like I don't mind extra pillows. I like, you know, when shiplap, when it first started getting popular in our area, we still called it chiplap, you know, and that kind of stuff. And technically, what we sell is a tongue and groove shadow gap. A true shiplap will have exposed nails, and we do a lot of that too. But most of the time, we're doing like a nickel gap, tongue and groove, concealed fastening setup. And I honestly thought right away, like, it was a trend that was going to fade out, and I wasn't like super sold on it.
Yeah.
And I just literally like it more and more
every day. Same.
Like, and then we started, especially with you guys. Your jobs were the first ones we started doing the, you know, I'm going to say the names wrong, but the navy blues and the blacks.
Right.
You know, and then that was the shuffle up. Even we done a couple with like navy blue walls and white shiplap. And,
right.
And it just really it flows.
It's sharp looking.
Absolutely.
Well, taking away from everything being white
so
shiplap,
do you see that going out?
Shiplap.
No, not at all. I mean,
I don't either.
Who knows?
I don't either.
Right.
I think, like, you know, I think that, you know, incorporating other colors on shiplap, like, you know, painting them different colors, black, blue, whatever, like you just said, but maybe not always white.
Absolutely.
And
we stock 6-inch, 8-inch, and 10-inch on hand here at Lumbrose.
Which is nice to know because, I mean, if you need some, you can just go to Lumbrose and pick it up right away.
Right. Yeah. And there's been a few fun jobs where it's and we're seeing it more and more on lap siding as well, where we'll mix it. You see it in old cabins with old pines, but you'll have, you know, like every once in a while do like a 6 and a 10 and then
ding,
a few
ding,
8s.
Ding, ding. That just got engraved in my brain.
For sure. And it's a fun
my
way
next
even
project.
to keep, you know, even the same color, but just shuffle it up
right.
a
just a
bit.
Mixture of sizes like you do like in flooring sometimes.
Absolutely.
Yeah. That's awesome.
And I also, I guess, back to that, something I hate.
Yeah.
And I get it. Budget, you know, this stuff's expensive. Our stuff is top quality. We do have cheaper options for people that want it, but we chose to put our name and stock the one we believe in the best.
Exactly.
It comes pre-primed. But my pet peeve is getting that you're too much money kind of thing. When a lot of times you quote apples to apples and
Yep.
you find out those things aren't different. We quote
Yeah.
what we're going to stand on,
Yeah.
or stand behind.
Yep.
And then maybe I'll get invited to a Christmas party later or 2 years later to those same people's house. And the cheap pine shiplap that they bought and painted, all the knots are bleeding through.
Yes.
And there's
Bleed
yellow
through.
Yes.
spots everywhere.
Yes.
And it's like,
Yep.
you know, there's a place downtown, great restaurant, great owners, everything about it's great. And I don't want to like knock the contractor or the restaurant,
Yeah.
but there's like a wood shiplap that's black and just like flaking and peeling
Oh
off.
no.
And at
yeah.
the time, yes, it would have been more to do a low maintenance composite material, absolutely. And you gotta hit that bank closing and be so.
Yeah,
I get it.
right,
Maybe the
right.
plan is to someday upgrade it,
Right.
but now you're gonna have
Spend
to
just
have
as
the
much
crew come
or
demo
more.
it, take
Yeah,
it to
it's
the
gonna
dump,
cost you more
put
in the
on
long
new
run.
stuff. Everything's
Yeah.
30% higher than it was 5 years
Yep.
ago, when that maybe 60% higher when the
Yep.
the place was built.
I always say that. I've always been one to just say, if I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it right the first time, because I'm not going to redo it. I know myself, and I'm not going to redo it later anyway. I might say, oh, I'll do that later. But realistically, when the project's done to me, it's done.
Right.
And if I'm going to do it,
Yes.
I'd rather tackle one room at a time and do it right than do like 5 rooms at a time and do them, half right.
for sure.
Because
right.
half right. Yeah.
Half wrong.
So, I think that's important too, is like there is a huge quality difference, and investing in that for yourself and doing it right the first time and absolutely loving it versus knowing that you cut those corners and thinking later, like, why did I do that? Now it's going
And
to cost you
regretting
even
it
more money.
later. Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah. I
For
feel like
sure.
that's a lot of times people make compromises on certain finishing elements, and then they go back 2-3 years later and they're like, geez.
Yeah.
Now I have to spend just as much, if
For
not
sure.
more money to replace it to make it the
Well,
way I
even all the
initially really wanted.
DIYers out there. I mean, I'm not knocking DIY. If you're
Not
good
at
at it,
all.
you're good at it.
Absolutely,
But
yeah.
let the people that are actually good at it, that do it for a full-time living, be the ones that do like a walk-in tile shower or a tile backsplash or things like that. Because, I've just seen so many things where, you walk in and the shower is falling apart or the
You
floors
notice
are
immediately
gapping.
that
and
it wasn't done by a professional.
Exactly.
Right.
And it just says a lot. So let the professionals be the professionals, I think, is the overall takeaway.
Absolutely.
From that
and there's so
conversation.
many people that are willing to help or answer questions
Right.
along the way, and even contractors, as busy as they are,
Yeah.
everything costs money. But if you offered someone $100 to just stop by and
Right,
just say, I want to do
exactly.
this myself, but I want to do it right.
Yep.
Can you just tell me
Yeah.
a quick little thing, or stop in at your favorite building center or wherever it may be.
Right.
Lumbros would
Yeah, exactly.
Plug
Yes.
Lumbros.
Plug Lumbros.
plug.
Okay, Zach, I want to know what's trending in the building world, like siding colors, door trends, roof lines. Like, what is trending in your world right now from a building perspective?
Right. Obviously, gray is
Gray is still a thing.
On the
still a
siding, you
thing.
mean?
On the siding.
Siding?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay.
A lot of LP Smart Side is
Yep.
they're still coming out with different shades of gray, eliminating
Yeah.
the slowing, moving,
Mhm.
and tans and stuff. Obviously, the mono single slope roofs are really becoming popular.
The
You
very
either,
modern
right
style.
Right. You
Love
either
that.
you either love them or you hate them.
Yeah.
Yes.
A lot of times
It's like the new pavilion.
right. Right.
I love that. I'm
The-
not going to lie. Okay, keep going.
Yeah. Now I'm thinking
Before I
about
get myself in trouble.
now I'm thinking about the pavilion. Could you repeat the question?
The question is what are some of the hot building
sorry.
trends
Thank
and
you.
stuff.
Okay, we're
Yep.
back.
Right, we're back. Marvin just introduced a nice kind of gunmetal gray in their composite series, the Essential and Elevate lines.
For
this
doors.
for windows?
I'm sorry, Marvin windows.
Windows.
Patio,
Okay,
patio
thank you,
doors
thank
and
you,
windows.
yeah.
Sorry,
Yeah.
that's
Okay.
what you
You
wanted.
got to dumb it down a little bit for us.
Yeah. It's been an aluminum clad, which is like a metal outside window, wood interior, kind of the traditional famous Marvin window.
Yeah.
But then they have fiberglass, a patented proprietary fiberglass couple series, one that's all fiberglass and then one that's fiberglass on the outside, wood on the inside, to kind of hit that price point.
Sure.
But the grays, lots of casement windows, which are crank out windows, the most efficient. Again, people either love them or they hate them.
Or they hate them.
Yeah.
Or they hate them. And then one thing I've spent the first 6-7 years as I'd sell windows, if you have like a two wide window, you know, where one cranks this way, one cranks
Yep.
out. It's two windows mulled together as one unit. And a lot of times we're finding that can't say most people, but a lot of people rarely open their windows.
Yeah.
And some again, love it or hate it. A lot of people, anytime they can, they open their windows.
Yes.
But instead of having every window in the house open, we just have the egress windows open. And then what I started to say was it used to bug me when it looked like cheap windows. I don't know how to explain it. We should have a pen. But if you have like an operating window that has kind of like a frame around it inside
The
the
other is a
I'm
picture
starting
window.
to fall asleep.
Okay, perfect. Anyway, come to Lumbros. I'll show you pictures of what I'm talking about. I like
But no, with what you were saying though, is when we replaced the window above my kitchen sink, and
Right.
you're like, Sky, do you ever open this window? Well, you have the sliding glass door right here. And we could do a picture window here. Like, I really liked that advice, and that's why I work with Zach too in the interior design industry, is because, you know, as a designer, like, you can think all these things, but we don't know that side of the world as much as we know our side of the world. So when Zach was like, you should do a picture window here, you've got the sliding glass door that opens here, I was like, you're right, I don't need to open this window above the kitchen sink.
Right.
And then I have that, now I've got a big beautiful all open glass window that faces the lake.
And we've done it on a couple other projects.
Yeah.
We do that
Right.
at Ann's as well, I
Right.
believe. Or,
Yep. Yeah, that big. Yeah, that was a
right.
big,
and it's
beautiful
kind of like
window.
the concern is like, well, we fry fish. Troy fries fish. And then we talked about
Yeah.
it. There's a patio right there. And on the wider kitchen sink windows, they only, they're always two windows mulled together.
Right.
So when you're standing in the middle of the sink looking at your
Like, you're
beautiful
literally
lake,
looking
You
right
gotta
at
see
you got
that
like
center
5
style.
inches of wood.
Yeah,
Right, that
exactly.
center style's right in your face.
Exactly.
And then you think about it. Or even the double hungs, which are the windows that,
Right.
up and pull
Which
down.
I think I have those too.
Right.
That you did for me.
Right.
So, literally, like, what I love so much, and I am gonna plug Zach for a minute here because he is really good at what he does. He's been doing it for 20 years. But all of us here at Design to Sell enjoy working with him and his team over at Lumbros because Zach knows his stuff, and he's gonna tell you like what works and doesn't work, and what's gonna be good quality and what's not, and, you know, guide you through the whole process. Because I'll be like, I don't know, I need some doors, and he'll be like, well, here's the ones you have to pick from. This one's going to be more expensive than this one, or this option, this, and always just super helpful and knowledgeable and getting us what we're looking for, but then taking that extra step to be like, are you sure you want that? Because I think this would look better. And then we'll look at it and be like, yeah, you're right. You know, so I think that's like,
It's happened a lot of times. I'll go,
Thank you.
yeah,
I'll have a meeting over at Lumbros and be like, I'm sorry I'm here, but at the same time, I really need your help right now. And very always willing to like help. And I've learned so much about your side of the industry just coming to have meetings and talk through projects as we've kind of progressed along in the planning phases of things. And like hinge stoppers are one of the major things that I found are like incredible, because a lot of times people have that little stopper on the wall, that little boing thing
yeah.
that's on
You
the
always
wall.
hit when
the
you're
thing
You
that your
always
cat
hit.
plays with.
Yeah. But just this little modification you can do to your hinges, which just makes it feel all the more customized. I mean, just little things like that really make all the difference. So we
thank you.
appreciate,
We appreciate
all of your
that.
help.
So, like, let's go to this. Okay, I want to ask you guys, like, one feature of a home that people think that they need, but they can live without. Can I go first because I have a good one?
Okay,
Please,
that's a hard
please.
one.
Okay,
Yeah.
like something that people think they need, but really they can live without. They might think they need it because they've seen it or whatever. Okay, my thing is a pot filler above the kitchen stove.
Ooh, yeah.
I don't think that.
What is that? Will you hang pots on?
What is that? It's like
Pot
a
filler?
faucet that's wall
Comes out of
mounted
the
behind
Oh,
your.
yeah.
know,
like
like,
the commercial kitchen.
To fill up the pots and
Right,
yeah. So
right.
like, I mean, I'm just old school. I'm totally fine with walking 2 steps to my sink and filling up the pot and bringing it to my stove.
Mhm.
For sure.
So that's mine.
That seems to me like what a good way to like ruin your entire kitchen floor by someone turning that, right? Because there's not typically like drains and stuff underneath them.
Right.
Is there?
True.
Like if you overflow,
Or the
pot
kids
on your
decide
sink.
that they
or,
wanna turn it
or
on.
the
What
kid,
have you,
yeah,
yeah.
you know, like
Uh-huh.
who wouldn't want to play
Yeah.
with that as a
True.
kid
Yeah.
in a
Right.
kitchen?
I feel like it's a pretty feature, and I feel like if you are a chef and that's something that you're totally into, then go for it. But I feel like, yeah, I wanted a pot filler, and then I talked to my plumber, and he's like, well, it's an exterior wall. Do you really want to do that? It's possible that it could freeze and your pipe could burst. And I was like, nah,
What
I don't
about-
want to do that now.
Yeah.
You know, we do so much, faux stuff and fake stuff. You know, if it really feels, if it just helps with the design.
You're
Putting
talking
a
about
fake
putting a fake
Screw one
pot filler.
Screw one on the wall.
I don't know about that.
Oh, okay. You
Like,
can
yeah,
put it-
I have this fixture here, but if if you wanted, you could plumb it later.
Yeah,
I don't think
no.
it works
It's
like
actually
that.
my
Oh, that's just
washcloth
for
dryer.
looks.
It's for drying my washcloths.
It doesn't actually fill pots. No. I don't even think they're that
Pot
attractive,
filler.
to be honest with you.
Pot
I mean, I think it's like a unnecessary commodity, personally. What do you guys have? Do you guys have anything? Something they think they need, but they don't really need.
This wasn't on your list.
Well, I know I made it up. If you don't have anything, that's fine. But that was one of mine.
I was gonna do pot filler.
Okay, I would say
Yeah,
You took
right.
I think
You're
I've got
copying
one.
my paper again.
Yeah.
I would say I have a lot of people who come in and, lots of people like the open concept. Lots of people like all the flooring being the same flooring. But I feel as though there are a group of people who want to have an entryway that has a different type of floor. Like a tiled entryway.
That is like
versus
nails on a chalkboard for me.
transition
I
into your-
cannot handle
No.
those transitions. So I'm going to say a big fat no.
Big fat no. That is something that I would
Oh,
say
that they think they need.
they think they need.
Oh,
Yes,
But they don't
But they
need.
don't need
Yeah.
because let's be honest. Like, I mean, unless you're dumping buckets of water on your floor, a little bit of snow from your shoes isn't going to ruin your floor.
No. Yeah.
Right?
Especially if it's all one level. Like if you got an area that's lower and then you got a step, like there's a line of demarcation. It makes sense. But if you have this whole open concept and you walk through the front door and it's just continuous visually,
Yeah.
I don't want to create a
It's a good
transition where
flow.
you stop.
Right.
No,
Right.
you do not need that.
We
No.
spent the last 20 years doing that, so
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
can
Right.
not do it for
Let's
a while,
move
and then
on.
let
Right.
your kids come and add the tile over your wood
Build a
floor
bridge and get over it.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Zach, you got anything on that?
Very minimal. What we've started doing a lot, and as we are getting more, as the tech comes in, coded keyless entry
Yeah.
code, like we did
Yeah.
on your front door, are amazing. Obviously, you can do them Wi-Fi now and get into the whole, Apple automation stuff to, or give people different codes. So your
Which is
housekeeper has
nice.
a code that only works Wednesday afternoons.
Sure.
Oh.
Or, like that. You can
I,
set.
maybe
you
I
can
should
set
have
the
upgraded
codes.
when you told me I
Yeah,
should have
right.
upgraded.
They're not-
I should
they're
have
not-
see again.
yeah,
I should have listened to Zach because
They're not
we
cheap.
just got done doing this and
They're
he's
not
like,
cheap.
Sky, do you want the Wi-Fi one? And I don't think I fully understood what the Wi-Fi one was because I'm not that tech savvy.
For sure.
So, but now I do, and now I wish I would have done that one.
We can do it again. We do that on garage doors too. We sell a lot of garage doors.
Yeah.
And similar concept. But I love the coded dial. Obviously, you can just get on your app and unlock it when they're there. A lot
Yeah.
of people have
Right.
Ring cameras or whatever, so they're there anyway. You just hit unlock and it stays unlocked. But I really like, Tuesday mornings from 8 to noon, the housekeeper's
Right.
code works, but the housekeeper's code doesn't work.
Yeah.
when you're in Miami for the
Right.
weekend
Yeah.
or
That
kind of
is
thing.
genius.
Uh-huh.
So,
Yeah.
but I guess where I was going with that is, for many years, at least me and my customers, on your front entry, you have a locking entry lever, typically,
Yep.
or knob,
And a
then you have
hidden
a
key.
locking deadbolt.
Yeah.
Or, you have both, which it does add some
Yep.
security, but I forget the amount of break-ins that actually happen through the very front door of a locked door
Right.
is very minimal. So people thinking that they need to have
A double lock.
deadbolt and a key below. Like
Yeah.
we do we do a passage lever below.
Right.
Another thing is you have, like we did on
True.
the rental.
Yeah.
You have the keypad, but then you put a locking lever right behind it. Well, if anyone locks that when they're going out, your coded deadbolt is worthless.
Yeah,
without the
exactly.
key, so you're in
Yep.
the same boat. So
Yep.
I would say if you're doing even just a regular deadbolt, it's nice to not have
True.
the extra. And it is, there's
I
both
guess I
sides
would have
to it.
never
You
thought
can
about
turn the
that,
knob
but it
and
makes
kick it in
sense.
a little. But again, if someone wants to get into your house, they're going to get into your house, and it's probably not going to be through the front door.
Right. Exactly. They're gonna break open a window.
Let's change the subject.
Home invasion.
Okay. Realistic budget. 'Cause I want to go on budgets once. Okay, because I'm gonna be totally upfront with you guys. With everybody here right now. So I've also been doing this for 20 years, going on 20 years. And a lot of people come in with a budget to build their home. And I believe in my 20 years that I have seen one couple stay within budget the entire 20 years. So here's what I want to teach people, tell people, yada, 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 is to take whatever budget you were given and add an additional 20% to that budget, if not more, to be realistic. And then that's your new budget when building a home. Am I correct?
I wouldn't say that you're wrong, but I have if you plan in advance, far enough in advance, I wrote down that you should price out your priorities first and see where you can compromise if you feel that you're getting tight on whatever your budget is, and then make the decisions with a designer perhaps to kind of decipher through those things and see, like, do I really need this? Is this something I really am passionate about, I'm going to love, and I'm going to walk into my home every day and admire? I think that those are the priorities. I think it's things that you really shouldn't compromise on. Like, you're going to have to add to your budget to do that, but give and take. I think it's one of those things. You're not going to build this mega mansion home that we all maybe dream of and maybe want, but at the same time, you can put some really updated fixtures.
There's
and
ways
do a
to
full
cut
walk-in
back,
shower
but
and
then
everything. Yeah.
I feel like whenever a budget is given by, you know, a contractor or an architect or whatever, those are very basic items that are being, you know, priced
Typically,
into
yes.
that budget.
Yes.
And then all the homeowners want to upgrade those items, whether it's a bathroom sink or, you know, their plumbing fixtures or anything really that, you know, they want to have in there. Would you agree with this statement, Zach? You're looking a little confused.
I would absolutely not agree.
You
with that
wouldn't?
statement. I wouldn't.
Okay, tell me.
Obviously, like on our projects where we're remodeling and things go, you know, maybe their project was 10 grand, but then we added this, and I think maybe that's kind of where you're probably referring to as things snowball. I guess when I heard it in my brain, I was kind of thinking of, I don't know, just kind of like uncontrolled expenses maybe. And again, we're fortunate that we don't have to deal with any labor.
Yeah,
You know,
like,
so
okay, so like
labor
Zach's in
can
like the very beginning stage of the building process. So maybe it's a little bit different for you.
We're involved in the beginning, but
Yeah,
we're
yeah.
all the way through.
Right.
No,
True,
but
true.
I guess where I'm coming from, we're fortunate. We supply materials only. We don't get involved in
Don't deal with the
any
labor.
labor.
Yeah.
True.
So we don't have that. And then our we don't Adam and Tina and myself, when we're doing takeoffs and making quotes and building these building material lists, our goal is, you know, you never want to be. Nobody wants to be the most. Well, some people do want to be the most expensive, but we want to. My biggest fear since I started in estimating and sales, and I've kind of passed that on to Adam and Tina as they've surpassed me really in a lot of fields in what we do. They're just, we've got an amazing team, but we're
Giving a more generous
squirrel
budget. Giving a more generous budget?
Right, but we don't, we won't, like, we want to include, my biggest fear is, back to where I started, my
Having
biggest
enough
fear
material.
is someone getting the job, going to the bank, I gotta hold this
Yeah,
microphone.
and then there's
And
not
then-
enough built in
and then,
because you
well,
price the...
Right,
yeah.
so it's like, we got the job. Oh, well, it's going
Right.
to be 800. The only times we've got into those troubles is when I am forced to ballpark. What do you think it's going to be? What do you think it's going to be? And then I panic, and then I panic, and then it's like blows it way
You know,
out of the
I
water.
honestly would agree with that. Whenever I'm doing average prices for a new construction home, I feel like I'm very generous in the
Same.
allowances that I'm
Right.
giving them because I've
Yes.
seen it where, you know, people are figuring bottom of the line stuff. Well, not everybody wants bottom of the line stuff. So when they come in, they're disappointed that that's what you priced
Right.
versus like a medium or nicer grade, you know, product
Yes.
that they can actually enjoy picking from and being
Absolutely.
realistic
Have fun
about.
with the process of selecting, because building itself is stressful anyways. And I feel like if you have this racked budget and you don't have a realistic expectation for what the cost is, you're going to limit yourself and not enjoy the process.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
I have
Yeah.
no desire to get the job and then not have enough equipment or not enough material to finish the job. Like,
Absolutely.
that's, you know, people are building what they can afford, and then to say, oh, you know, junk happens.
Yeah.
Things do get missed. Everyone makes mistakes besides Roxanne.
Oh my gosh. Right.
And yeah, just that's my
yeah.
huge fear, is just disappointing. I'm a people pleaser. And
Yeah.
what could be more disappointing than needing 20 grand and
Yeah.
you
no.
don't,
Additional
you don't
siding.
have it, right?
The worst
Right.
is when you just don't have that built in. No doubt. Okay.
For sure.
A couple more questions, guys. My next question number 1 is, what has Detroit Lakes taught you or changed about your design perspective?
Me.
Okay, Roxanne, you go first.
Okay, so I'm come from Charleston, South Carolina. I would say it's changed my
Ooh,
perspective.
that's a good question for you then.
Yeah, it
Okay.
Yes. It's changed my perspective because I feel like the people who live here and who are, let's just say, the people that are snowbirds and the people that live here full time, it's eclectic style. I think that a lot of times have
It's a nice way to
people
look
in
at
the
it.
past.
Eclectic.
Yeah. No, I mean that in the best way
So
possible.
are you saying that in South Carolina, all of the, like it's not eclectic, like everybody does the same thing?
I
or?
would say that there is a heavy influence on coastal Cape Cod style, more of the
For
white,
sure.
white, you
For
know.
sure.
Okay.
And that's not everybody, but I feel like it's a very large majority.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
So, not to stereotype, but that is kind of what I would deal with. And it's like white tile, and I want white shiplap, and I want blue, and everything is very like beachy, and it's kind of like this theme. And you get tired in design when everything is the same for years and years and years, like white subway tile, you know?
So what you're saying is you think that Detroit Lakes has given you more of an eclectic perspective.
More of a mix, a
I
hot
would-
dish,
I
a hot dish. if
Hot
you will.
dish
dish
casserole.
perspective.
We are a design hot dish.
Designed to sell. Detroit Lakes has actually taught me a lot about style because it's actually challenged me to do certain styles that I wasn't as comfortable with. I haven't done a whole lot of lodge style. I haven't done a ton of that cabin, like mountain house, like really moody, dark colors, that kind of thing. And I
Right.
really
For
love
sure.
that people have the diversity, and one day I'll have somebody walk in and they want that lake fun, bright coastal,
Yeah.
which I'm used to, but also just kind of transforming myself as a designer to learn more about different things that go together and different textures. Wood here is incredible. Like people do all kinds of wood features on the ceilings and on the walls
Right.
and woodwork and things. And
Yeah.
it's just taught me a lot.
Right. I
Yeah.
would agree. Like, I think Detroit Lakes is very eclectic because from my perspective.
You got to hold your pinky up when you say
Oh,
that.
yes. Okay.
Super
Pinky.
eclectic.
Pinky out when in doubt.
Maybe I
From
should look up what
my
eclectic means before I give tips.
from my perspective, I think that, like I said before, and I've mentioned this before in a podcast, but people with a lake home generally go, it seems, two directions. So they either go like full rustic log cabin, or else
Lodgy.
it's like very like coastal cottagey modern,
Yes.
or else it's like extremely modern. You know, I guess those are the three
Yeah, for the most
that
part.
I
yeah.
see the most of.
Mhm.
Zach, what do you got?
Well, I'm in my little fish bowl, so I really appreciate my fish bowl of Detroit Lakes. So that's all I know. I appreciate the South Carolina, the Southern Belles
Oh, yeah.
opinion on our Minnesota eclectic hot dish. So I don't know. I guess to touch on the wood, yeah, wood in our area, in our area nationwide, as far as building materials, millwork packages, doors, windows, we have always been heavy in wood grains.
Yes.
Yeah.
Obviously, oak for many years. There was always oak. and
Good
then the-
old
and then the cheaper ones.
Minnesota.
Minnesota. A lot of people don't know any other wood grains, but they know oak because of church pews.
Mm-hmm.
Is that what's
It's
that?
the
Yeah.
heater.
It's the heater.
That's the
Nice.
heater.
So anyway, but I guess back to
Church
that.
pews. Why were we talking about church pews?
Church pews.
Okay.
Maybe you need to sit in one more often, Sky.
Yeah.
No, but for our area, the painted white and painted trim is relatively new in a design.
Yeah.
I know when I started in the industry
Yeah,
in
you're right.
2003
You're right.
as a
Everything was
delivery driver,
golden oak.
it was mahogany and golden oak.
Yeah.
Everything.
Yeah. And then
My house was
cherry
built in
was like a thing.
2011 or
You-
2012. All of my doors, all of my trim are all
Yeah.
dark wood, like.
But you know what?
mahogany
I
kinda
like
color.
when
Right.
people come
It
in
looks
and
nice.
they say, you know, I'm sick of the white painted trim. I want a wood trim. And then it's like kind of fun. It's different.
is.
It's fun
Yes.
to do that because it's like, oh, good. We have something other than white trim.
My
too.
favorite is I still like the white clean trim look. My favorite is the white trim and then the wood grain stained doors. I think the way those doors, just like on the front of your
Yeah.
house,
It
on
makes
an
your doors
exterior door.
pop.
It does.
It does.
It really makes it brings
I
out that
agree.
wood. It
100%.
accents it, and it's just giving it an outline. An outline, even back from my sign industry days.
Yep.
You know, you want. There's a reason why you outline letters. It's so it pops out. And,
Exactly. That
and that's-
contrast.
that's
So-
my favorite. One little important tip, even if you don't get your doors from us and these wonderful gals, is if you're gonna do painted trim and stained doors, be sure you tell your building material supplier that you want the door jambs to match the trim.
Exactly. You want your jams to be the white.
Right, the wood where
Also,
the door
too.
Just
shuts
the
where the
slit.
latches is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just the slab is the stained.
Right.
Yes.
It
Okay.
drives me bonkers.
Okay,
when
so
I
we're
see
gonna
that.
go into this now for one more subject here is what are some costly mistakes that you could avoid or should avoid when building or renovating? And I'm gonna go first because I got this at the top of my mind. Is I think everybody views an interior designer as an expensive ordeal. When one thing that I've truly learned throughout the lifespan of my 20 years is that an interior designer actually ends up saving you money in the long term because you're going to love what you came up with right away. You're going to avoid those costly mistakes that of the do-it-yourselfers or, selecting something that doesn't look good together and then ending up changing it later. But just having a general guideline, and now more than ever, it's important, like we said, to love how you live and be in your space. And interior design has gotten even more huge in the last 10 years, and more important. And so, what do you think about that, Zach?
What do I think about that? I think, I guess I just have to echo what you said, is hiring a professional. A lot of people think with the general contractor charges, 10% or 5%. They take the whole list and then they put their contractor fee. And I see so many homeowners, and we've had lots of successful jobs with lots of homeowner generals. So I don't want to knock it. A lot of people do it. But I think what a busy mom and dad who are going to build a house don't realize is when you take away that professional and try to do it yourself, it's up to you to call the plumber you've never worked with and wonder why he's not there. Call the electrician you've never worked with. When you hire a contractor, I had one explain to me a long time ago. He's like, yes, I charge 10%, but 1% of that is insurance. If you're homeowner generaling and a roofer falls off, that's your buck. So 1% of that 10 is giving the homeowner absolutely no liability in the issue. And then like 5% of that is he's been doing this for 30 years. He's going to save you that much money.
Has run into things on the job and can foresee things that could potentially come up to help save.
He's got the relationships, the expertise, the connections. He knows the guy that does this that nobody else knows because he just works for some contractors or that kind of thing. So I think a lot of people don't realize how much effort, how many phone calls, and subs are great, but we're all busy. Everyone's looking for help.
Or by the time you call them, they're already booked out 3 weeks, versus just having a steady schedule where they get there.
And I guess I'm going to flip that costly because not all costs are financial.
Right.
And I believe it was it Maddie in your guys' podcast? I don't even remember if you were talking about shiplap, but one of you gals said, if you do what you love, it won't go out of style. Things you can change, but again, a costly mistake is doing something.
I'm impressed right now.
You did some homework. Wow.
I did.
Nice job, Zach.
Yeah, thanks.
But yeah, you're totally right.
Right, that's
100%.
Cost isn't just money.
Right.
And all of a sudden
it's time too.
Right. You went with your friend's opinion because you thought she was cool.
Yeah.
And now you got something
because
that you're not happy with.
Jane that works at the pet groomer store knows her interior design stuff.
For sure. For sure.
Okay, go ahead, Roxy.
I was just going to say a way to avoid costly mistakes is to have somebody help you plan through that whole process, whether it be us helping with project coordination or you have a contractor. We kind of all work together rather than taking on all of that yourself. And you said, going back to both of you and what you said was having a professional involved to help you through all of the fine-tuned details. Because I can tell you, first and foremost, I have worked with homeowners where they have been subs. And let's just say for a kitchen renovation, they had their cabinets installed. They didn't have the plumbing valves for their sink put in properly. And then it's like you have to hire the cabinet guys to come back, take the cabinets out, do the plumbing work. And it's just like you're spending more money and you're spending more time and you're extending the project because things weren't planned and scheduled properly in the right order.
Right.
So I feel like that is one thing a lot of times whenever people are DIYers, it's knowing the process, knowing who to call, when to call,
the sequence
when the
of events and getting it done.
Absolutely. Or
because nobody wants to be in a renovation for longer than they have to.
Or then the plumber finally gets there to do your finishes and you find out that all of the fixtures that you saved big something on, he's not going to install or warranty. Sorry.
He's not going to warranty.
We can't say other names, so I'm just going
to.
But that's the same kind of thing. It's like, I'm not going to put this in. I'm not going to stand behind this and that kind of thing. Not for everything, but a lot of people, it's like.
Yeah, and that's why it is, being in the building industry, we know the difference between quality and things that are not as good of quality and service and, installation and all of that things. So we really appreciate you guys watching our Design Duo podcast this morning. Zach,
thanks so much for being on with us.
Can you tell my legs are shaking and my hands are sweating?
Thank you so much for being on with us today. Again, this is Zach with Lumbros Building Solutions in Detroit Lakes.
I'm going to interrupt. We just really appreciate all the fun projects we get to work on with you guys, both Adam and Tina and myself.
Thank you. It is super fun. We have a blast.
It is super fun. And the measures, the meeting the homeowners, the guys with or all of your subs that you work with are wonderful.
Yeah, everybody's great.
And it's just fun, and seeing your before and after. We're just honored to be a part of your and our other interior designer project. It's so fun working with people with good taste and seeing things, come together. So
Well, thank you, Zach.
Thank you,
thanks
Zach.
for having us.
We appreciate you
Appreciate
guys
it.
so much over at Lumbros, and
you.
we can't say enough about you guys either, because it's really a dream to work with professionals that can help along with the process. And
Well, from the get-go, we wanted to build relationships.
So thank you guys all so much for watching the Design Do It. Have a great day, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you.